California, where it's in the water. Whatever it is, it's in the water, and I see a landmass coming out of the water in California, and whatever is going on in California, like this earthquake or something, it's actually going to affect the whole country. Like I see that also. It's kind of like it's like maybe an earthquake, or a lot of water is involved in this, and then what I see is like it's like an underground fault. Like one time I just saw a whole big fault, like as though I was underneath it and I was watching it under the ground, and the whole fault shifted, and you could feel it. Something happened in New York because of it. And so whatever that is that's going on in California, it's going to affect, or the feelings of it's going to affect also New York for some reason. Maybe it's a fault line that comes off of another fault line, I would assume. And I don't want to put out predictions. I don't want to do any of that. And
well, I appreciate that. Okay. Can you explain what the gist of, in other words, again, you're describing, I can see how you're a person who goes into the exact picture that you're getting. And I appreciate that, because it's very valuable to do that. But in terms, just because we don't have, hours and hours on the radio show,
right.
We only have a half hour left, and I'm going to skip this break at this bottom of the hour here. So that you and I and Joe can stay on the air, and get as much information out for the last half hour as possible here, and also encourage any questions that are coming. So if you could generalize a little more and be a little less specific in terms of the actual incidents that you're seeing, but if you could package, for example, some of your visions or information that you've gotten over the past 10 years, let's say. Have you got any overall sense of what the future looks like from your sources?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I believe that there's going to be a lot of catalytic events. Did I say that word right?
Cataclysmic?
Yeah, cataclysmic. Yeah, events.
Well, to be a catalyst is one thing. So if you say catalytic, you're saying, in other words, are we saying catalyst type events? I mean, because in essence, a cataclysm is a catalyst. So it can be viewed in a positive way, in a sense, as a catalyst for change. So it may be.
Right.
It is. It is all about, right. Okay. It is all about change. I do see the change. We are going into a change. We're in a change right now. And that's why a lot of us are awakening. And so what's happened is that there's going to be, a lot of earthquakes. There's going to be volcanoes erupting. There's going to be, floods, major floods. I've also know that there's going to be a fire coming out of the ground from underneath the earth. I don't know why, but I'm just saying, I see that a lot. But it is all for change. I mean, it is all about creating a new transformation. I truly believe that, we are in a time of, we are in a time of transformation where we are all coming into what you would call a new age. And this new age is awesome. Now, I do see the new age, and I'm seeing these kids being born now, that are being prepared for this new age, this new time, however you want to call it. And so there is a wonderful thing that's going to come out of all of this. It's just, there's got to be a lot of rattling and a lot of shaking up, and there's going to be a lot of people going home, so to speak. There's going to be, a lot of love that comes out of this, a lot of communal love, to where, people are going to see each other much differently. There's going to be such an evolution of change coming that even today, even in our wake states, a lot of us are coming in through these waves of energy. I also feel those energies. And these waves of energies are actually creating a change, and I would say like morphing people, like changing their DNA, their memory banks, things like that to get them to, they're beginning to see things differently in their eyes and in the way they feel. And so there is a tremendous amount of change that is not only occurring now, but it's getting more in a deeper, it's getting more graphic, and it will get more graphic within the next year, I believe.
Okay.
In the next 2 years, we're going to really see big changes.
Okay, Joseph, what are you seeing, and can you also expand on, perhaps, since you're also doing channeling sessions, I guess, with Terry, you yourself, to put in your own words what it is you have gotten from the contacts?
Okay. I'm the same as Terry. I don't want to put doom and gloom out there. I just want to be real. And it depends on the perspective that the person is looking at the events that are going to be coming down the pike, and where you are in your spirituality of how hard of a transition this is going to be. So the higher the energy that you get yourself into by the time this all happens, and I mean, this is gradual. This is coming. We've already seen how many, earthquakes and whatnot, and it's just going to get more magnified within the next couple years. I don't want to give it an exact date, but 2012 is just kind of like a baseline. I don't know if that exact date is going to mean anything, but around that time, yes, within the next year, I think the first thing that's going to happen, and I don't like to predict, I'm just going to put what's out there. I think that communications, like she said, will probably come down, and there'll be smaller communities. The financial structure of the world is going to change. I think that is one of the first things that we're going to see, that you're going to know something's going to happen. And yes, I believe there's going to be some major earth changes. In fact, I mean, the channels were really specific about how the earth was going to look after all this, but I don't know when that's going to happen. In other words, the one thing, and I really don't like to say all this because it sounds like I don't want people to be fearful of it, but it is. I really think something major has to change in order to reset civilization as we know it, because the powers that be aren't going to easily just say, okay, you know what, I agree, I think we should make a change. They want to control who they control, and they want the power and the money and all that. So I think Mother Earth as a sentient being is also, when you see certain things like hurricanes or earthquakes, it's Mother Earth shaking off that part in that low or that negative energy, and to make a change. But I really think with the.
Thank you. That's very good. Perhaps you can talk about, you're saying that the channels have been very specific, and about how the earth is going to look after the change. Why don't you address that? In other words, we're here, we're not here to say these things are written in stone anyway. The reason I'm having you guys on is to reveal, your experiences, what your contacts are telling you, and your process. And I know that there are a lot of people out there going through similar things, and that's why I brought you on. And it doesn't, the other thing is that, and let me say this also, there's a huge contingency of ET out there who want to take over the earth for themselves for various reasons.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, and the Illuminati are part of that sort of team, even though in some ways they're naive about what is really the agenda. So,
absolutely.
With that in mind, when you channel and when you get ET information, you could be getting some of this negative side coming in, where if you, in case you're not aware, David Wilcock, I guess you're both familiar with, who believes that he was the incarnation of Edgar Cayce, but whether he was or not is really unimportant. What matters is